Hello and welcome back to Beyond Swatches. My name is Tiffany and I am a knitter living in North Carolina. I am a recent Purl Soho affiliate and I am beyond excited about that. It's a 3-month thing that I have going on and I'm just super duper excited. If you've ever went to their website and you just thought, oh my god, this stuff is too expensive, it is a little pricey, but so is luxury. And this luxury is not just luxury in name only. If you do a true apples to apples comparison, but you hold this yarn in your hand, you'll understand that not all wools are created the same, not all cotton is created the same. And so it might behoove you to take a little deeper look and not just look at the one thing that you see, which is the price, and we know that that's important, but I wanted to kind of go into some other things that they have going on their website that might make the luxury feel a little less invasive. So one of the things that I appreciate about their website is not only do they have luxury yarns, they do have a sale pretty much all the time, but they have patterns. They have lots of patterns. And for a person like myself who started in knitting back in the early 2000s, decades ago at this point, all I had to choose from, like a lot of people did, was the yarn label on the inside of a yarn band, the little leaflets that hang in the store and they're free. You might find a beginner book and it would have basic knitting patterns, so a hat and a scarf, a phone case, a cup cozy, things like that, and all of those are great. But there wasn't a whole lot of garments out there. There was basics that were subpar, to say the least, but over time we now have independent designers, we have collaborations, and things have just kind of progressed and they've gotten more inclusive, they've gotten better. And so I went into the Purl Soho website years ago and they had free, and I saw free and I got excited. Because at that point I was buying, patterns that were maybe $6, $5, and I didn't like the writing style. I didn't understand what they were saying. I didn't quite get it. And then Purl Soho's website was introducing video demonstrations. They had tutorials. There were written explanations, and it was just a lot of things that were, I guess, coming to the knitting space, but it wasn't readily available to someone like myself. I don't know, at the time maybe I didn't know about Ravelry. I didn't quite understand YouTube. I didn't have a computer. I didn't have really a phone at that point that did all the capabilities, so you got to keep up with the times. And up until then, all I had was the analog paper label and beginner knitting books. So when I go onto their website, if you go to, I don't know, everything is different, but if you go to their homepage, you'll either see 3 lines in the top somewhere on the left hand side, or a filter button for you to look for free knitting patterns. And when you go there, it opens up options for blankets, shawls, scarves, hats, beanies, mittens, children's stuff, baby stuff, housewares. Did I say blankets? They have tons of blankets. They have a lot of like shawls and wraps. Think the half and half wrap. That's a Purl Soho thing that took over the knitting world. Like that was on everybody's project list. But not only do they have these free patterns that you can use to make gifts, they have what I consider a good balance of independent designers that have unique takes on design. So not just your basic drop-down raglan sweater or top-down raglan sweater. They have those too, but there's always that unique thing. So I'm looking at right now a blanket called the Charm blanket, and this is one of those that if you had a bunch of scraps, fingering weight scraps. This is made out of linen quill, their mini bundle. But if you had at home a bunch of scraps that you just needed to get rid of. This is a perfect pattern for that. It's like a bunch of tiny little circles. Oh, I don't know if they're circles, but there's some kind of connecting circle, and they almost look like gemstones, the way how these colors are set up. And that's such a unique design. They have this other blanket on here called the Incredible Blanket. It kind of mimics in appearance a granny square stripe crocheted blanket. Love it. And it's a good way to use up your fingering weight or, almost lace weight type of yarns, and you just want to get the stuff out of your home. It's a functional project, and it's on Purl Soho, and it's free. So again, the inspiration that you can pull from a place like Purl Soho, I think, is just amazing. Another area of Purl Soho's website for their free patterns that I think people overlook is their dishcloths, hand towels, washcloths, and like bath accessories. So, well, that is a washcloth, but they have a bath mat in here too. And with those, you may be able to get away with 2 skeins of yarn, or maybe 1, and you can make your nice dish towel. Think about giving gifts for new homeowners, and you want to give them a nice little kitchen set. You can make them a pot holder, a dish towel, and a washcloth, and you may use 2 skeins of yarn for that. Think about those who are newly married and you just want to give them a nice little home gift, but it's a handmade gift. It's long wearing because you're probably making it out of 100% cotton. And again, yes, they do have their yarns here, but they also have free patterns that you can use to create the same thing from things you have at home. Now, I am guilty, very guilty of, if there is a very popular pattern, for example, the half and half wrap. When that pattern came out, everybody was making it, and I made my first one out of a different brand of yarn. But I wanted to make it out of linen quill because everybody talked about how good it was and how hard wearing it is, and it's so warm and it's so this. And I heard enough about it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to save up me some money and I'm going to get me this linen quill. It took me about 6 months. Not that it took me that long to save it, but I waited for Black Friday and I saved up for it, and I finally got it. And I got it in my favorite color, which was a bright hot pink and a nice cream color. And that was my very first linen quill half and half wrap. And I adore this thing. I carry it everywhere like a little Linus and it goes everywhere and it keeps me warm, and I just love it. And it's one of those projects that I personally have that it was worth the wait and it was worth the money because it is usable. It is still holding on. It's not like threadbare or anything. And I don't regret it at all. So that's just my own personal tidbit. But they're quality stuff. Other patterns that I think you might like, they have big scarves. So some of us are not really into, let's say, triangular shaped wraps. Well, they have rectangle scarves that you can they're really, really long. Maybe you want to make a small scarf. I see one here called a close cable scarf or close cable. I don't know. But think about learning a new skill and you don't want to stick it in a sweater just yet. A simple scarf would be a good place to start. Now, to be completely fair, there are some yarns in any category. This is hand-dyed yarns, luxury brands, whatever. There's some yarns that you will want to purchase and probably never make anything with for another person, but you'd make it for yourself because you will treasure it. That's how I feel about this cashmere bloom. Every time I look at this yarn, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, let's be serious. I always think I would love to have a cashmere something, but I don't know what. And for it to be as pricey as it is, it needs to be something that I can use not just in the wintertime. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to pay $60 for 1 or 2 skeins of yarn, this is going to have to give me something that I'm wearing at least 9 to 10 months out of the year, because that's a lot of money. But if I wanted to treat myself to whatever this thing is, I would probably save up and do it. It's such a delicate balance, y'all. It really is. It's like, I have a hobby that costs money. I do. And I'm not living in anybody's luxury. So I don't always have money to do my hobby. But when I had the money, I stockpiled. So I have things to choose from now. So now when I go to a little retail therapy, I may purchase a skein of the good stuff and hold on to it until the next time I need some retail therapy. And I'll get another one. And then I'll get another one. I watched this video not too long ago. Oh man, I can't remember the girl's name. Is it Project Notes? That sounds like it might be right. Whatever it is, I'll put it up here if I can find it. But I ran into her on Instagram. And I think on Instagram, she's Midnight Society Knits or something like that. And she said in one of her videos, one of her roundup videos, that she made this top. It was so beautiful. And it was made out of this yarn from Purl Soho. And the yarn is like $30 a skein. And I was like, how in the world did you do this? And she says she bought a skein here and a skein there, 2 here and 1 there. And eventually she had enough. And she made it, and it was worth it. Now, I don't know if she said it was worth it. I can't remember what her results were with it, but it was a beautiful fit. It looked good to me. Like, I was looking at it on her, and I was like, I want to make that too. It was a unique looking pattern. It doesn't look like your typical top-down raglan or your typical drop shoulder. And it was made with this really spectacular yarn, and it showed. Like, you could tell the quality of the end result because of the yarn that she used. And that is to me, one of the things that I am looking to elevate in this new year that we're in, because I feel like I have made a lot of things with lesser quality, but still good quality. And my heart isn't bursting at the seams because of it. There's some things that I make and I want them to be workhorse, stable yarns. And then there's other times where I look at my clothing and I'm like, I want something soft and feminine, or I want something silky and drapey, and everything is not always in the same place. So if I want the soft, silky, feminine, drapey feel, I might be able to find that somewhere else at a lower price point, but there's going to be always a little something that will say, Purl Soho has that Santolina. It's a little expensive, but I deserve it. You know what I mean? So, and it's not going to happen all year. So you got to be reasonable. We got to balance. We got to have some balance. Like maybe I want to make my mom something. Hint, hint. I know you're probably watching, but if I want to make my mom something, I'd love to make her 100% cashmere sweater. I would love the privilege to be able to knit with that. And I would love to be able to gift that to her. But if she wanted to gift me the experience, I certainly would not reject it, Mom. I know you'll get a kick out of that one. Anyway, the point is, ladies and germs, if there are any germs watching, it's a luxury. It's a luxury and it's a privilege. And sometimes it's very random that you make your purchase. But if you choose to shop with the website, please click on my link. If you remember, bookmark the one that I put down there. You can save it to your phone or your computer, and it'll give me a little piece of kickback or what have you. And I think if I do well enough with this affiliation, maybe they'll extend it past the 3 months. That would be really nice. But please, and I cannot stress this enough, please do not feel that because you can't do that it is not appreciated. I appreciate every view, every like, every share, every email, comment. We have chats going on Instagram through my text messages, my email. I have a nice nugget of a community of knitting friends that I just enjoy communicating with. And this is just another area that I feel like you can support if you choose to, but only if you can. And I'm okay with that. I really, really am. This life of knitting does not stop just because an affiliate link comes and goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're still going to be knitting. We're still going to find a way to get the stuff we want anyway. Leave me down below if there's a favorite yarn that you have at Purl Soho. Is there a pattern on Purl Soho that you've always wanted to try or that you have tried that you think everybody else might benefit from? And is there a skill that you want to perfect or learn in 2026? That'd be interesting to know. So leave that information down there, and I will see you when I see you in the next video. I appreciate you again. Have a great one. Bye.